Live from the French Quarter, this is Eyewitness News at noon.
Good afternoon. We begin with the loss I hoped I would never have to report, the death of the great Antoine Fats Domino. Is the mic not on? Personal for me, Fats was more than a musical icon. Fats was a friend. His daughter Adonica told me this morning her father passed away peacefully yesterday from natural causes. Fats' 4 daughters, Antoinette, Andrea, Anola, and Adonica, were all by his side, as was his son Tony. Fats had 3 other sons, Anatole, and his 2 sons who died before him, Antoine III and Andre. Fats, along with Dave Bartholomew, were 2 of the fathers of rock and roll. Their song, The Fat Man, is widely considered the first rock and roll song ever. Fats Domino lived a long and a remarkable life. You could try to put the life of Fats Domino into words, but it's easier to let the man and his music speak for itself.
Oh, well, goodbye, although I'll cry.
The word icon really doesn't do Fats justice. His unmistakable sound, smiling face, and musical skill entertained generations of audiences around the world. In the process, he and his longtime collaborator, producer Dave Bartholomew, introduced the sound that would one day become rock and roll.
They call me the fat man, 'cause I went to
In 1949, the song The Fat Man introduced Antoine Fats Domino to the world. From then on, he would forever be known as Fats Domino. And the world would never forget his music. A string of blockbuster hits followed. The songs he and Bartholomew wrote were often simple and reflected everyday life and love. Simple songs, but with an enormous influence on everyone from Elvis to the Beatles. He is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, was honored with Grammy Awards, sold tens of millions of records throughout the 1950s and 60s. But despite all that, deep down he was simply Fats Domino from the lower Ninth Ward. We were fortunate to get to know him as a friend, visiting his famous house, sitting on his pink Cadillac couch, and visiting with a music legend who would never forget where he came from. When you look back, I mean, you've had one heck of a career.
Yeah, I guess I did.
Well, there's no guessing about it. I mean, you're like a legend.
Yeah, well, God been good to me, and the people been nice to me, and everything.
In the beginning, when
no complain at all.
When you first started out, did you ever in your wildest dreams think it'd be like this?
No.
A few years later, we were back at that same house, which, like his beloved Ninth Ward, was devastated by Hurricane Katrina. What do you think when you see it?
Well, what you expect, you know? It's one of those things.
Fats loved his neighborhood so much he stayed there during the storm, which led to rumors of his death and eventual rescue. Even amidst all the devastation, the smile was still there, and an album he released soon after said it all. He was alive and kicking. Still, his shyness often kept him off stage. In 2006, last-minute jitters kept him from performing at his final Jazz Fest. The next year, he was back on stage for what would be his last performance, a benefit for the Tipitinas Foundation. It was the Fats we all knew and all loved and always will. Fats had such an influence on so many local musicians, including Irma Thomas. I talked to Irma this morning and she echoed the feelings we all have. There will never be another one like him. And for the great Dave Bartholomew, who is 96 years old, Fats was not just a friend, but a collaborator of some of the world's greatest music. The two had a falling out later in life until they reunited a couple of years ago before they were honored in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We were there for the reunion, and everyone agreed there would be no Fats without Dave, no Dave without Fats, and no Fats and Dave without the late, great Cosmo Matassa. Funeral arrangements have been made, but with the passing of Fats Domino, he will join his late wife Rosemary, and we gotta believe that'll be in rock and roll heaven. As we said, Fats had a great impact on people around the world, especially for us folks here in New Orleans. The news of his death hit the music community hard, and the folks over at WWOZ Radio are determined to make his music live on. Katie Steiner is live at the radio station now in the French Quarter, where they're keeping his music alive as it always should be.
Hey Eric, yeah, that was such a beautiful tribute, and we all know that this is a really hard day for you because you knew him so well, but people here at the radio station, really the people that we've talked to, never met him, but it was a really hard day for them because they heard of his death. He's really just made such an impact here at the station. In fact, they're playing Blueberry Hill right now, and they've been playing these songs all day long. We've heard two different bands that have played that specific song in honor of him, so take a listen. That was Blueberry Hill, played by the Doyle Cooper Jazz Band. They were here in studio playing for the show about 10 o'clock this morning, and they played that song in honor of Fats Domino. We talked to one of the DJs here at WWOZ, and he said that it's a hard day for everyone.
He's so important to who we are in this city, and he will be missed, but he's going to live on in his music. What a great gift he's given us, so we just need to enjoy the gift. 779.
Father Ron said that he also loves being able to make sure that the gift Fats Domino gave the city and to the world lives on. The radio station here plays a lot of his music, and they're committed to playing local up-and-coming artists as well. So even though it is a really sad day here in the city of New Orleans and at this radio station, they are really committed to making sure that that music lives on. And Eric, that's really the important thing at the end of the day. Reporting live from New Orleans, Katie Steiner, Eyewitness News.
Yes, it is, Katie. Thank you very much. The New Orleans Advocate music critic Keith Spira has covered the music of Fats Domino for years and got to know him pretty well. Keith, we knew this day would come one day, but it still comes as quite a shock.
Yeah, it's clearly the end of an era, you know. I mean, he was one of those bedrock New Orleans artists. He and Louis Armstrong really were the most prominent artists the city has ever produced, and their music's going to live forever, you know.
And the one thing that was so neat about Fats when you got to know him is just how humble he was.
He was absolutely unaffected by his superstardom. You know, I mean, he was literally a founding father of rock and roll. You know, there's a reason he was in the very first Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class alongside Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry and James Brown. He helped create the music. Yet, yeah, if you hung out with him, he was just as happy hanging out with his buddies in the lower Ninth Ward, cooking red beans and, you know, hanging out at the house in slippers. I mean, that's what he liked to do. Although
he did know his place in history, because I asked him one time, I said, you went to meet the Beatles, and he goes, no, the Beatles came to meet me.
Which is true.
It is true.
Which is true. You know, and that's the irony of it. I mean, the British invasion kind of helped kill off the market for New Orleans rhythm and blues, yet those guys in the British invasion worship people like Fats Domino and the original generation of rock and rollers. And of course, you know, Fats came back around where people appreciated his music once again.
And that will be his legacy, is just what he did for the music industry. And, you know, and you've met a lot of musicians as I have. I have never met somebody who is as loved and adored by fans like Fats was.
No, it was amazing. I was privileged to tag along with him when he went to New York in 2007 to promote the tribute CD. And just the reaction of people in New York running into him on the street, it was like, you know, they'd seen a unicorn or something. They were just so amazed to see this guy, Fats Domino, who created this body of work in their midst. And he was so humble and so nice with everyone that he encountered, but very much Fats. You know, I remember in the hotel, he was very unhappy that the room service steak had the fat cut off of it. You know, Fat liked his fat.
That's right, yeah.
Fats liked his fat on the steak. So you could take him out of New Orleans, but you couldn't take New Orleans out of Fats.
Yeah, and you know, and I talk about his humility. You know, he was comfortable wherever he went, and he was so gracious to his fans, always ready to take a picture and just give everything back.
Oh, he signed, I mean, countless autographs, and you know, you might run into him in Home Depot or someplace in New Orleans, but he wasn't a regular guy. He was a very, very special entertainer who created a body of work that will live forever.
All right, Keith, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Of course, lots of fans and musicians are flooding social media with reactions to the death of Fats Domino. On Twitter, Dr. John posted a picture of himself and Fats Domino taken back in 2014. He was a big fan of Fats. And Harry Connick Jr. said, "Rest in peace, Fats Domino. You helped pave the way for New Orleans piano players. See you on the top of the Blueberry Hill in the sky." And Fats did just that. He was a leader. And when he put his fingers on that keyboard, it automatically became a Fats Domino song. Well, still to come on the news at noon today, we have other information about the investigation of the death of a North Shore fire chief's wife. Plus, the post office is out with its expectations for the upcoming holiday season, and they're saying it's going to be a big one.
And while it's a sad day in New Orleans, a beautiful day out there and a little bit on the cool side as well, as our temperatures are only in the lower 60s right now. We will have some more chilly weather tonight, but changes are coming to our forecast. I'll explain what they are coming up in just a bit. Stay with us.
And that's our new news today, which has been a very sad day for us here in New Orleans and for people around the world with the loss of Fats Domino. So we'll leave you with this performance of Fats at Tipitina's back in 2007.
Me cry when you say goodbye. Ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame. You broke my heart when you said we're apart. Ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame. Oh well, goodbye. Although I'm crying, ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame. Me cry when you said goodbye. Ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame.